Ladies and gentlemen, this is Envoy of Kairos, back for another speed paint. And this one is a much quicker, simpler, smaller piece because my last two were really huge and forced me to delay things a bit, and I just wanted to get back to basics for a while. It was timed rather well, considering I was also starting a new D&D campaign recently, and needed to come up with some character concept art. So, here we have Skreb Globo, the Goblin Wizard. Goblins are an unorthodox choice for wizard, but I also happened to create a subspecies variant that I feel fits into the lore of the Sword Coast quite well. Of course, far to the north of the Sword Coast, you have Neverwinter, one of the most popular cities in the entirety of Dungeons & Dragons. And Neverwinter, of course, has a very familiar history. A harsh winter comes along, and people seeking shelter unites to create a new city, a new civilization, to fight through the harshest conditions they had ever known. People of all races came together, and eventually it became a very inclusive city. And in this case, I have created a sub-race of goblins that joined Neverwinter at its foundations, but due to prejudices at the time, were only allowed to stay if they were able to make use of themselves. Particularly with, well, manual labor jobs, and eventually it was discovered that the jobs they were most appreciated for, due to their agility and diminutive size, were more technical jobs. This resulted in a lot of plumbers, librarians, and so on. Eventually, this caused a sub-race of goblins to be developed in Neverwinter that traded their usual constitution buff for an intelligence buff. Overall, I feel it's rather lore-friendly. And then, that eventually leads us down the generations to Skreb Globo. He spent most of his life in libraries, eventually becoming a librarian and really taking to the job, loving history and eventually learning Draconic, wanting to get down to the history of the origins of magic. He never believed himself to have any innate talents with magic, so he eventually made the mistake of finding a spell book tucked under one of the shelves. And when he managed to decipher and read one of the spells, it turned out to be Firebolt, and he accidentally set the library on fire. He was fired for that, and barred from working at every library in Neverwinter. But it did give him a new calling in life: to become a wizard and travel the world, searching for the origins of magic. Searching for the original language tied to magic known only by the gods. So, Skreb took up a robe, one that he had to fashion from a thrift store rug, because he's just that broke being a goblin wizard. But eventually, with the help of his new party, he will be able to afford a proper robe and proper clothes to wear beneath it. But until then, he's satisfied with his new calling, always considering the pursuit of knowledge to be more fulfilling than anything else. And so he joins his party, including Viola Cook, the halfling bard with the dragon mark of hospitality, and a peculiar warlock fellow carrying around a conch shell pendant containing the ancient ghost of a level 20 pirate who happens to be their great-great-so-on grandmother. It's an interesting party so far, and there's one member that has yet to join us, who is undoubtedly one of the greatest D&D character puns I've ever seen. A former royal guard who was assigned to the gardens, who happened to be a gnome and turned out to be a druid. So we're getting quite the garden gnome added to our party soon when he's available again this Sunday. As for Skreb, well, I have some interesting plans for him. I'm taking up a newer subclass of wizard called the Order of the Scribe, which has quite the specialty. The whole gimmick behind the Order of the Scribe is that they can transcribe the damage types of one spell over to another, so long as they know the damage type through any one spell, they can use it as a conversion of any other spell. So I could, say, learn a spell with a little bit of radiant damage and, replace the force damage of my magic missile with radiance. Or I could turn literally any other spell into force just because I happen to know magic missile. Or, of course, the brokenness of chromatic orb giving me access to every elemental damage type. And I fully intend to abuse every bit of that. Hence, the greatest joke behind my character. Eventually, he will reach level 7. He will earn 3rd level spells. Skreb Globo will get access to Fireball, although he kinda hates using fire, thanks to the incident with Firebolt in his original library. So, he'll learn Fireball exclusively to convert the damage type, which, with Chromatic Orb, will be quite easy to do with just about any element he may need at any time. But that just means, down the line, our party's go-to damage option will always be the Goblin's massive balls. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Envoy of Kairos signing out, and I'll see you guys again real soon for another video. More Sonic Origins should be going out any minute now, or probably already has. I'm probably going to end up scheduling it for 2:30. I've got big plans for the channel moving forward, and I'm getting far enough ahead on my standard content that I can work more on bonus content with ease. So, I'll see you guys with some of that real soon. Later, guys.